Once upon a time, Loren and Alexei Brovarnik were the golden couple of TLC's 90-Day Fiance. Fans adored their playful banter, their sweet love story, and the way they overcame cultural hurdles together. To many, they were proof that love could conquer any obstacle. But behind the glossy smiles and social media perfection, a storm was brewing. Hidden debts, whispered betrayals, and quiet suspicions began to grow in the shadows. No one expected the fairy tale to collapse so violently. Alexei and Loren Brovarnik, due to family disputes, they are officially divorced on August 2025. It has been learned from a secret source. Alexei Brovarnik has been secretly in a relationship with Tori for 2 years. Finally, they are going to get married officially upcoming 20th January 2026. Tori's home is in Australia. Because Tori agreed to pay off Alexei Brovarnik's secret $1 million debt, Alexei decided to marry her, and Alexei Brovarnik divorces his wife Loren Brovarnik. Subsequently, Loren Brovarnik filed a defamation lawsuit against her husband Alexei Brovarnik. Following the trial, the court found Alexei Brovarnik guilty and sentenced him to 1 year in prison. The story of Alexei and Loren's downfall reads less like a love story and more like a scandalous novel. Tonight, we uncover every hidden detail. This is the rise and fall of Alexei and Loren Brovarnik. When Loren first appeared on 90-Day Fiance, she was instantly relatable, bubbly, quirky, and unapologetically herself. Alexei, the tall, soft-spoken medic from Israel, seemed like the calm to her storm. Their chemistry was undeniable, and viewers fell in love with them as quickly as they fell for each other. Their journey wasn't always easy. Loren faced health challenges, cultural adjustments, and doubts from family members. Alexei struggled with the pressures of moving to America and building a new life from scratch. But somehow, through all of it, they shined. TLC showcased them as the couple who made it. By the time they welcomed their first child, fans had elevated them to power couple status. Social media overflowed with comments like couple goals and the most genuine pair on TLC. They posted adorable family pictures, vacation clips, and heartwarming baby updates. For years, everything seemed perfect. They were invited back for spin-offs, tell-alls, and special episodes. TLC knew audiences loved them, and Loren and Alexei seemed to thrive in the spotlight. They even became influencers in their own right, securing sponsorships, brand deals, and fan-funded ventures. But perfection, as fans would later discover, was only part of the story. Behind the scenes, Loren was shouldering more than just motherhood. Alexei, charming on camera, was carrying a secret burden, one that threatened not only their finances, but their entire marriage. At this point, no one outside their inner circle suspected a thing. The world saw smiles, but the foundation was already cracking. On the surface, Loren and Alexei's lives looked picture perfect. A beautiful Florida home, 3 adorable children, frequent vacations, and constant praise from fans. But as any relationship under the spotlight eventually proves, perfection often hides the deepest wounds. At first, the cracks were small. Loren's parents adored Alexei, but also worried that their daughter had placed too much trust in someone from a different culture. Private whispers about financial responsibility and stability sometimes slipped into dinner conversations. Alexei, proud and private, often felt judged, as though he was being measured against an invisible standard he could never fully meet. Meanwhile, Alexei's Israeli family had their own doubts. While they loved Loren, they occasionally hinted that she didn't always understand Alexei's background, traditions, or values. Every holiday became a balancing act between 2 families, 2 cultures, and 2 expectations. For years, Loren played the peacemaker, smoothing over conflicts with her charm and energy. But even her resilience had limits. Another issue lurked in the shadows: finances. Despite their TLC fame and influencer income, expenses piled up: medical bills, childcare, brand commitments, and family trips. Loren wanted security and long-term planning, while Alexei, eager to provide, sometimes made choices without fully explaining them. It started with subtle tension. Loren questioning a missing payment here, a late bill there. Alexei brushing it off with, "Don't worry, I'll handle it." She trusted him, but deep down, unease grew. What fans never witnessed were the late-night arguments. Loren, exhausted from juggling 3 young kids and endless filming schedules, would snap over small things. A misplaced toy, a forgotten errand, Alexei staying out too late with friends. Alexei, usually calm, grew defensive. "Why don't you trust me?" he would ask, his voice rising more than Loren had ever heard before. Neighbors recalled muffled voices through the walls. Close friends noticed Loren arriving to gatherings with swollen eyes, claiming she was just tired. Alexei appeared distracted, often checking his phone as though waiting for a message. The truth, their once rock-solid partnership was starting to fracture under secrets neither was ready to confess. Public image versus private reality. On Instagram, Loren still posted smiling family photos. Alexei uploaded beach shots with captions like "Family First." To their hundreds of thousands of followers, the Brovarniks remained flawless. But behind the screen, resentment brewed. Loren felt she was carrying the emotional and physical load of the family. Alexei felt unappreciated, trapped between family pressures and obligations he couldn't explain. And through it all, an invisible weight pressed on Alexei's shoulders, his hidden $1 million debt, a secret he feared would not only ruin his marriage, but also destroy the carefully curated image they had built together. The stage was set. The love story that once inspired millions was teetering on the edge of collapse. Every marriage has secrets. Some are small, forgotten texts, unspoken frustrations. But Alexei's secret wasn't small. It was massive, dangerous, and it was only a matter of time before it consumed everything. Years earlier, before his life with Loren reached full celebrity status, Alexei had dabbled in risky ventures. A friend introduced him to quick-profit investments, crypto schemes, sports betting, and overseas business opportunities. At first, it was harmless, even exciting. He made small wins that gave him confidence. But the wins didn't last. Losses piled up, investments collapsed, and before Alexei realized what was happening, he was spiraling into debt. Each time he thought he could make it back, he fell deeper into the hole. By 2023, the number was staggering. Nearly $1 million owed to a tangled web of lenders, online platforms, and private parties who weren't known for patience. On screen, Alexei was the devoted husband and father. He smiled for cameras, cracked jokes during interviews, and posted sweet captions about family milestones. But off-screen, he was frantically juggling overdue payments and debt collectors. He borrowed small amounts from friends, told Loren half-truths about business deals, and quietly sold off items without explanation. He would disappear into late-night phone calls in Hebrew, speaking quickly and quietly so Loren couldn't catch every word. Loren, though sharp, didn't suspect the full scale of his problem. She chalked up the tension to exhaustion, stress, and the pressure of being in the public eye. But Alexei knew the truth. He was living on borrowed time. The guilt gnawed at him. Every time Loren smiled, every time she posted a cheerful family update, Alexei felt a pang of shame. She believed in him, trusted him completely, and carried the family's emotional load with unmatched strength. Yet here he was, hiding a financial disaster that could ruin them both. He wanted to confess. So many times, he almost did. But each time, fear stopped him. What would Loren say if she knew he'd risked their family's stability for reckless ventures? What would TLC fans think if they discovered the perfect husband was drowning in secret debt? By late 2024, the debt collectors grew bolder. Emails turned into phone calls turned into visits. Alexei began to panic. He considered desperate solutions, selling the house, begging relatives, even disappearing. But none of it seemed possible. His only option, it seemed, was to find someone, anyone, who could rescue him from the $1 million trap. That's when Tori appeared. Tori wasn't just a friend. She was something more. They had first crossed paths years earlier, casually, during a fan event connected to TLC. Tori, an Australian woman with charm, confidence, and financial security, seemed intrigued by Alexei. Over time, their conversations grew frequent. What began as playful exchanges turned into private chats, then emotional confessions. By 2023, while Loren was consumed with raising the children and managing her own struggles, Alexei leaned on Tori as a confidant. She listened, she encouraged him, and eventually, she offered more than comfort. She offered a way out. Tori knew about the debt, and unlike anyone else, she had the means to erase it. $1 million, she claimed, wasn't impossible for her, but her help came with conditions. Alexei's heart raced as he realized what she was implying. A marriage, a future, with her. Alexei's loyalty to Loren clashed with his desperation. He loved his family, but the noose of debt heightened daily. Could he really betray the woman who had stood by him through everything, or was this the only way to escape financial ruin? The secret was no longer just about money. It was about choices, betrayal, and a deal that would change the course of his life forever. Alexei's double life had officially begun. If Loren was the wife America loved, Tori was the shadow no one saw coming. She lived oceans away in Australia, far from the cameras, far from the family chaos, far from Loren's watchful eye. And yet, her presence would soon ripple through every corner of Alexei's world. Alexei and Tori's paths first crossed during a fan interaction in late 2021. TLC had organized an international digital event, connecting stars with global audiences. Tori, bright-eyed and confident, joined a virtual meet and greet. Unlike most fans, she didn't gush. She didn't ask for autographs or couple selfies. Instead, she asked Alexei questions about his life, his struggles moving from Israel, and how he balanced everything under the spotlight. Her directness surprised him. Later, she messaged him privately on social media. A thank you note at first, but soon it turned into longer conversations. Casual jokes, honest reflections. Within weeks, Alexei realized he was checking his phone not for brand deals or TLC producers, but for Tori's replies. Loren loved Alexei, but their marriage had shifted. With 3 young children, filming schedules, and endless responsibilities, their conversations often revolved around diapers, bills, and work deadlines. Tori, on the other hand, gave him something different. She didn't nag, she didn't press, she listened. She made him feel like the man he used to be before the fame and fatherhood swallowed him whole. Her words carried a kind of validation he was starving for. Alexei, you deserve more credit. You're stronger than you realize. You shouldn't carry all that stress alone. To a man drowning in debt and doubt, those words were lifelines. By 2022, their friendship blurred into something else. Private late-night calls stretched for hours. Loren would fall asleep exhausted from parenting duties, while Alexei whispered into his phone in another room. And eventually, he told her, not everything at once, but enough. He admitted the weight of his debt, the fear that it might destroy him. Instead of recoiling, Tori leaned in. I can help you, she said one night. Her tone wasn't pitying. It was confident, almost matter-of-fact. At first, Alexei resisted. How could he accept help from someone who wasn't his wife? But the more they spoke, the more the impossible began to feel possible. It's often said that emotional affairs cut deeper than physical ones. And with Tori, Alexei had both temptation and escape. He began to confide in her about things he no longer shared with Loren, his doubts, his regrets, his frustrations. In return, Tori painted a picture of a life where he could be free of shame, free of financial ruin, and free of the judgment he felt at home. She promised him peace, and in Alexei's fragile state, peace was irresistible. Tori wasn't naive. She knew the risks. She knew Alexei was married with children. She also knew about his public image, the perfect husband adored by fans. But she had leverage, money. Her family owned property and investments in Australia. She wasn't a billionaire, but she had resources, enough to cover Alexei's looming $1 million debt. And she made the offer clear. I'll take care of this, all of it. But only if you choose me. It wasn't framed as manipulation. It was framed as destiny. She wanted Alexei, and she was willing to pay the price to have him. Alexei didn't say yes right away. The guilt was crushing, but neither did he say no. He kept talking to her, kept leaning on her, kept escaping into her words. Each time he confided in her, the invisible thread between them tightened. 2 years later, that thread would pull him into a decision that would blow his marriage apart. Tori wasn't just a fan anymore. She was the woman who would change everything. For 2 years, Alexei lived a life worthy of a Hollywood thriller. To the public, he was the doting husband and father, carefully curating every post with Loren. Behind closed doors, he was entangled in a secret relationship with Tori, one that grew deeper and more dangerous with every passing month. Alexei's days were carefully divided. Mornings were filled with school runs, diaper changes, and filming with Loren for TLC updates. Evenings were about family dinners, Instagram photos, and brand deals that highlighted the Brovarnik bond. But when the kids were asleep, when Loren retreated to bed exhausted, Alexei's other world came alive. His phone lit up with messages from Tori. Late-night calls stretched past midnight. Sometimes, he claimed he was working on projects or checking in with relatives in Israel, when in reality, he was pouring his heart out to a woman thousands of miles away. The deception became routine, almost second nature. Alexei grew skilled at hiding evidence. He deleted call logs, deleted messages, and used encrypted apps to communicate with Tori. When Loren noticed him glued to his phone, he dismissed it as work stress or family matters back home. But cracks appeared. Loren sometimes caught him smiling at texts, his face softening in ways it hadn't for her in months. Other times, she found him restless, pacing after whispered phone calls. Her instinct screamed that something was wrong, but Alexei always had an answer ready. Gaslighting became his defense. "You're imagining things," he'd say. "You know I'd never hurt you." And for a time, she believed him. Despite being continents apart, Tori found ways to make her presence tangible. Care packages arrived at Alexei's address under the guise of fan mail. Inside were expensive watches, luxury sneakers, and even discreet envelopes of cash. She reassured him constantly, "I'll fix this. The debt doesn't have to define you. When the time is right, you and I will build a life together." Those words sank into Alexei like hooks. The deeper his financial troubles grew, the harder it was to resist her promise of salvation. Meanwhile, Loren noticed changes. Alexei grew distant. He laughed less. He avoided eye contact during arguments. The intimacy they once shared dimmed into routine gestures for the camera. Friends whispered that Loren seemed lonelier than ever, even when Alexei was right beside her. Some speculated postpartum challenges or stress from raising 3 children. None guessed the real reason. Alexei's heart and attention were drifting across oceans. There were close calls. Once, Loren walked into the room unexpectedly as Alexei ended a video call. She caught a glimpse of a smiling brunette face on the screen before it went black. He brushed it off as a work call. Another time, their oldest child accidentally picked up Alexei's phone and started reading a message aloud. "Can't wait to see you in January. Our future is close." Alexei snatched the phone so quickly it startled everyone. Still, Loren didn't have proof. And without proof, she couldn't confront the storm she felt was coming. 2 years of deception drained Alexei. The guilt was constant, eating away at him during family milestones, birthdays, anniversaries, holidays. Each smile with Loren felt borrowed, each hug a betrayal. And yet, the thought of losing Tori and her promise to erase his $1 million debt kept him tethered to the lie. Alexei wasn't just living a double life anymore. He was racing against time. Because secrets this big don't stay buried forever. For 2 years, Loren's suspicions quietly brewed. She wanted to believe her marriage was solid, but the late-night calls, the unexplained absences, and Alexei's growing emotional distance gnawed at her. By mid-2025, the truth could no longer be ignored. The marriage that once looked like a fairy tale was about to detonate. Arguments became a daily occurrence. Loren accused Alexei of being absent, physically there, but mentally elsewhere. He countered with claims that she was too controlling, too suspicious. The laughter that once filled their home was replaced with silence, icy glares, and the occasional shouting match. Neighbors recalled slammed doors and muffled fights echoing through the hallways. Friends noticed Loren withdrawing from social gatherings, while Alexi seemed distracted and impatient when he did attend. Behind closed doors, the word divorce was whispered more and more often. The final straw came in July 2025. Loren stumbled upon something she couldn't explain away, a transfer receipt. It wasn't for a small payment. It was for tens of thousands of dollars wired to an Australian account. When she confronted Alexei, his reaction was telling. Instead of calmly explaining, he panicked. He tried to lie at first, claiming it was a business expense, a temporary loan, money he'd get back. But the stammer in his voice, the sweat on his brow, and the way he avoided eye contact confirmed her worst fears. For the first time, Loren felt the ground beneath her collapse. By August 2025, the divorce papers were signed. What shocked fans most was the speed. There were no joint statements, no carefully worded PR posts. Instead, news leaked through a family insider who confirmed that Alexi and Loren were officially divorced. The internet exploded. Wait, what? The Loren and Alexi? I thought they were the most stable couple. This is worse than any 90-day plot twist. Loren, devastated but determined, maintained her dignity. She focused on her children, refusing to publicly drag Alexi, at least not yet. Alexei, however, went quiet. His Instagram posts slowed, his appearances dwindled, but behind the scenes, his new chapter with Tori was already in motion. Though the official divorce cited irreconcilable differences and family disputes, whispers soon surfaced about something darker. Rumors spread of secret debts, betrayal, and a mysterious woman from overseas. At first, fans dismissed it as gossip, but in time, the whispers would harden into undeniable proof. For Loren, the heartbreak was unbearable. She had given her trust, her love, and years of her life, only to be blindsided by secrets she hadn't seen coming. For Alexei, the divorce wasn't an ending. It was a transition, from one life to another, from Loren's embrace to Tori's promise. But what neither realized yet was that the fallout had only just begun. Because Loren wasn't finished fighting. When the divorce dust settled in August 2025, Alexei should have felt free. Instead, he was standing at a crossroads. One path leading to ruin, the other to salvation, and at the center of it all was Tori. By now, Alexei's secret wasn't just a financial nightmare, it was a ticking time bomb. Debt collectors, unpaid loans, and mounting pressure threatened to crush him. Loren's exit from his life didn't erase those obligations. In fact, it made things worse. Without her support, Alexei had fewer ways to mask the cracks in his finances. It was only a matter of time before the truth exploded publicly. But Tori had the solution. Tori didn't mince words. During one of their late-night calls, she laid it out plainly. Alexei, I'll pay it off. All of it. $1 million. You'll never have to worry again. Her voice was calm, confident, almost businesslike. She wasn't dangling money like bait. She was presenting it as a partnership. But there was a catch. I want us to build a life together. No more secrets. No more hiding. I want you here with me in Australia. It was more than just an offer. It was a deal. Alexei hesitated. Deep down, he knew what it meant. Accepting Tori's help wasn't just financial relief. It was betrayal solidified. It meant turning his back on Loren completely, erasing the chance of reconciliation, and binding himself to Tori's world. But the temptation was undeniable. For 2 years, Tori had been his confidant, his comfort, and now his savior. Every logical thought screamed that this was dangerous, but desperation drowned logic. In his mind, he justified it. Loren was gone. The marriage was over. His children would be cared for. He had no other way out. Tori sweetened the vision. She spoke of her home in Australia, a modern house by the coast, stability, and freedom from the shadows of debt. She painted a future where Alexei could reinvent himself, away from the drama of reality TV and the judgment of fans.